Great day, everyone. I'm Cesar Martin, and I am here to present to you the principles of administration and management. Administration and management are both very significant functions of any organizations. Without management, there is no organization. And of course, without administration, there is no management. Management is the act of managing people and their work for achieving an organization's goal using its resources, while administration is an organized process of administering the management of an organization. Management principles emanated from the traditional classical organization, though often called administrative management theory or universal principle movement, which was initiated by a Frenchman, Henri Fayol. Henry Fayol had a major impact on managerial communication in his develop of 14 principles of management. So in this post, we will look at these principles briefly and see how at least some of them can be applied in the school. First is the division of labor or division of work. This is the principle of specialization, which applies to all kinds of work, managerial as well as technical. The intent of division of work is to produce more and better work for the same effort. Specialization is the most efficient way to use human effort. Here, the principle focuses on dividing the schoolwork among the staff, who is trained and specialized in a particular field to perform such duty. This division of labor would make work simpler and would result in a greater efficiency. It will help the students in acquiring speed along with the accuracy in their performance. Authority and responsibility. Authority is the right to give orders and obtain obedience, and responsibility is the corollary of authority. Authority and responsibility similarly coexist in the school system. Principals are expected to give the authority that is commensurate with responsibility. There should be a balance between authority and responsibility. For example, the principal should have the right to punish a teacher or a staff for willfully not obeying a legitimate order, but only after sufficient opportunity has been given to the teacher or to the staff for presenting her or his case. Next is discipline. Discipline is the obedience to organizational rules and employment agreement which are necessary for the working of the organization. The principle of discipline is absolutely necessary for the proper functioning of an organization. Members of an organization are required to perform their functions and conduct themselves in relation to others according to rules, norms, and customs. Discipline can be best maintained by having good superiors at all levels, agreement that are as clear and as fair as possible, and penalties judiciously imposed. The principle of discipline will help the school management to achieve its objectives because it is a necessary prerequisite for the maintenance of teaching learning atmosphere in the school environment. Let's get going. The principle of unity of command states that each participant in a formal organization should receive orders from and be responsible to only one superior. This will help to prevent confusion regarding tasks to be done. Therefore, in the school system, each teacher or staff should have one head of department whose command he or she has to obey. This is apart from the principal being the overall school head. This will lead to easy flow of activities and programs. It will ultimately help to achieve stated school goals. Next is the unity of direction. Fayol propound that the principle of unity of direction means that all managerial and operational activities which relate to a distinct group with the same objective should be directed by one head and one plan. This means that all related activities should be directed by one person. For example, all kinds of transactions that are made in school, such as payment of school fees, buying textbooks, uniforms, and the like, should be under the control of the school bursar. This is essential for the unity of action, coordination of strength, and focusing of effort. All the units of an organization should be moving towards the same objectives through coordinated and focused efforts. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. Fayol opined that the interest of an organization should take priority over the interest of any one individual in the organization. The interest of the school is above the interest of the individual and the group. However, the achievement of this can only be made possible when the school principal set an example of honesty, integrity, fairness, and justice. The reality of this will involve an attitude and a spirit of sacrificing individual interest whenever it becomes apparent that such interests are in conflict with school interests. Next is the remuneration of personnel. Motivation and productivity are close to one another as far as the smooth running of any organization is concerned. The overall pay and compensation should be fair to both teachers or staff and the school. The teachers or staff should be paid fair wages, which should give them at least a reasonable standard of living. Hence, the school principal in connection to the board should take into consideration the working conditions and difficulty of the job. We proceed to the principle of centralization and decentralization. Centralization implies the concentration of decision-making authority at the top management, whereas its dispersal among more than one person is known as decentralization. Here, the principle allows the head of the department to make decisions in respect to his department. The need for this, according to Fayol, is to balance teachers or staff involvement through decentralization with head of department retention of final authority through centralization. The degree of centralization will depend upon the circumstances in which the company is working. Let's have the principle of scalar chain of command. Scalar chain is the ranking from the ultimate superior's authority to the lowest ranks. The structure of an organization suggests that there is a superior and subordinates. Principles are to ensure a proper and appropriate flow of communication in the school. The line of authority is the route followed via every link in the chain by all communication which start from or go to ultimate authority. The principle of order states that there should be precise location or place for everything and people in the organization. In essence, this means orderliness. It is the responsibility of the principal to ensure that the right person is on the right job and that everything is in its proper place. This kind of order depends on principal's precise knowledge of the human requirements and resources of concern and a constant balance between these requirements and resources. Accordingly, Fayol suggests that it is only when people and materials must be in suitable places at appropriate time for maximum efficiency. Equity. This principle emphasizes kindliness and justice in the behavior of principals towards teachers or staff. The principal has it as a duty to instill a sense of equity throughout all levels, ensuring that subordinates should is treated with justice and kindliness. Good sense and experience are needed to ensure fairness to everyone in the school. This will ensure loyalty and devotion. There should be no discrimination against anyone on account of sex, religion, language, belief, or nationality, etc. Stability and tenure of employees. The organizational policies provide a sense of reasonable job security. Staff turnover should be minimized to maintain organizational efficiency. This is because it takes time for a staff to learn his job. If they quit or are discharged within a short time, the learning time has been wasted. At the same time, those found unsuitable should be removed and those who are found to be competent should be promoted. Fayol suggested staff should be selected and appointed after due and rigorous procedure. But once selected, they should be kept at their post and also equal opportunities be given to everyone. They should have stability of tenure. They should be given reasonable time to show results. Let's get going. Initiative means taking the first step with self motivation. It is thinking out and executing the plan. Initiatives focus on the ability, attitude, and resourcefulness to act without prompting from others. The principal should create an environment which encourages the staff or teachers to take initiative and also be encouraged to develop and carry out their plans for improvements. This will help to provide a sense of great satisfaction to intelligent and committed teachers. Lastly, the principle of esprit de corps. Esprit de corps is anchored on cohesiveness and team spirit and should be encouraged among teachers or staff. Principal ability to promote teamwork will give rise to a spirit of mutual trust and belongingness among team members. It will also minimize the need for using penalties. Fayol warned against two enemies of esprit de corps, which are divide and rule, and abuse of written communication. It may work to the benefit of the organization to divide its enemies, but it will surely be dangerous to divide one's own workers. Such staff should rather be welded in cohesive and highly interacting work groups. Over-reliance on written communication also tends to disrupt team spirit. Written communication, where necessary, should always be supplemented by oral communication because face-to-face contacts tend to promote speed, clarity, and harmony in the organization. We proceed to the advantages and disadvantages of democratic administration and management. Democratic educational administration has the following advantages. It creates a cordial, congenial atmosphere and work culture in an institution. It provides optimization of performance. Everybody feels committed and involved in all the programs of the institution. Everybody participates spontaneously and joyfully. People outside the institution feel committed too. They are involved in all the programs. They take interest and extend cooperation. Proper motivation are created among the personnel for working in the institution also. Local participation, initiative, and support for the institutional programs are also made available. Here are the disadvantages. Democratic process is time-taking since everything is done through persuasion and motivation. Productivity may not be maximized in a democracy due to lack of threat or rigid norms. It is contended that due to much importance given to the number or quantity, the quality may be sacrificed to some extent. All these disadvantages can be removed through improving the interhuman relationship, making informal contacts and creating an atmosphere of enjoyment, motivation, pride, and participation in the institution. So let's have an activity. Say, oh yeah, if the statement is correct, and oh no, if it's not. The intent of division of work is to produce more and better work for the same effort. The answer is, oh yeah. There should be a balance between authority and responsibility. The answer is, oh yeah, good job. The principle of discipline is necessary for the proper functioning of an organization. The answer is, oh yeah, great job. Thank you very much for listening and participating.